Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Coach Rivals Season 2023 Draft Party. I am Neshama, and I am joined by a man who does not need an introduction, but I'm going to give him one anyways. He is a two-time Coach Rivals champion. In Season 2021, he was the fan favorite, most handsome mid laner across the entire league. And in season 2022, the most handsome top laner across the entire league, Mr. Drake Prime.
Well, hey, thank you for the introduction. Hope I can live up to some of that.
So we are here to go over the teams that have been drafted this year for Coach Rivals. And we've had things a little bit different. Obviously, each year with Coach Rivals, things have been tweaked and modified because you always want to go back and review how you did and make improvements. But Drake, what sort of changes are we expecting this year for anybody that may have competed last year?
Yeah, so there's really three big changes that we made. One, we kind of added another level of responsibility to captains this year with adding in our draft. So before, the way it was handled was Coop and obviously other people kind of got together and they would work and try to balance out the teams according to like a point system, and they kind of sit in this room for probably hours as they try to make it as balanced as possible. And now, in an effort to kind of bring everybody, make it more involved, we've kind of got rid of that and we've established captain's drafting, which we kind of did today. That's the first major change. Second one we did is we kind of laxed some of the policies that we had dealing with like attendance, things like that. We realized last year kind of over course correcting a little bit. We tried to make attendance as like mandatory as possible, saying if you were going to miss 1 week, like don't even sign up. We don't want you. Realizing like, hey, we're not the LCS. We're here for a good time, right? That's not fair to everyone. We all have lives. We all have things come up. So we kind of dumbed that back a little bit. We're adding more people to be subs, trying to fill that in. And last one actually escaped my mind as I was talking about it, so I'm going to sit here and vamp for just a second while it comes back to me. Yeah, so the last one that we had is that we went away from the 3-tier system back to just one summer league, and then we're adding a learning league, which will start up pretty soon.
Awesome. Well, and I've already looked at some of the rosters of the players, and that was one of the first things I noticed is that we're actually starting to see some of the players from our Tier 3 league being mixed in with players from our Tier 2 league last year, and then also mixed in with our players from our Tier 1 league. So it's one big happy family this year. Is that what you're telling me?
Pretty much. There are still some restrictions put out there. For example, you had to be level 45, especially to like pretty well versed in the game. We actually be ranked. I think the minimum rank was bronze 3. I think what it was. Basically, you understand some general of the game. Was just some of the established that we had. So it's not just open play. We have a lot of new people in there necessarily. We're trying to make it as balanced as possible. Obviously, we have people like Pathfinder, Eric, and Dose who are, let's just say, pretty good at the game. You know,
they're okay. I think Eric just fakes it till he makes it. So we're going to go ahead and dive into a little bit of what's going to be different this season, I guess, game-wise, and things that, you know, maybe you and I think that could be major factors in what's going to be success. I mean, obviously, we had some drafting take place this year that was a little bit different than what we had last year. But in addition to that, we've had a lot of changes on the rift between the 2022 season and the 2023 season. That being, we've had 2 champion releases since then. Cassante has come out, Emilio has been released. We've had 2 reworks in Yuumi and Nico. And then probably the big thing that is probably my major factor for whatever team gets a hold of this the earliest is going to have the best advantage is going to be this mid-season update with ADC itemization and the Mythic rework.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks for input there, Drake. So let's get into our captains. For anybody that just wasn't really paying attention to who our captains were, we're going to take a look at those. We had Pac-Man Monarch, who was I believe he was the captain of the winning team for Tier 2 last year in the season 2022 season. We have that Subdo, which is a Bulldog Mentor. If you haven't been following summoner name changes, I really am sorry if I pronounce any of your names wrong, but to CV, I'm going to throw that out there. We're going to hope that sticks. Saikazi, Hernandez Teaches, Ginga Riffith, Chicas, and Pathfinder, as was mentioned earlier. So here are our 8 captains, and as Drake mentioned earlier, we did go through a draft earlier this afternoon. So what we would like to do is highlight our top 8 first picks of the draft, who captains chose first, and then we will then reveal the entire team and in its entirety, and kind of talk about things that maybe jump out to us and what we see. Drake, are you ready for this?
Yeah, before we go on, I just want to give a huge shout out to people that decided to be captains. It's a commitment. Being a part of this for the past 2 years, kind of being on the team, it's a commitment just to play on it, but then stepping up and saying like, hey, I want to kind of organize these things with my team. It's a big step, and I can't say appreciate enough. Thank you guys so much for being a part of it.
Yeah, it really is a big commitment to take the time out of your summer. Not only are you committing to game night, but also nights of practice, but then brainstorming and all that. And when we start looking at these players, I guess some of the factors that we look at and what's going to make one of these teams successful is not only their grasp on the meta as far as like how things change in League of Legends from week to week, but also team synergy. So you could, even if you look at the ranks of these players, we've seen players that were formerly Master or Diamond and so on. But if they don't gel really well with their teammates, then that they can flounder and lose to a team that maybe have lower ranks, on paper, and then just have a much better team synergy, right?
Absolutely. As resident, they call me the backpack, but really I'm more the brick you put in the backpack. For every team I played on, I can tell you that it's never been so much like we always had the best players on our team, so much as we just were able to talk to each other. I genuinely, from experience the past 2 years, having won, in case you guys didn't hear that earlier, 2-time champ back to back in his prime. Like I said, that happened because I was generally friends with everyone that I played with. We had a good time. We liked spending time together playing the game. We would play A-ramp and things like that. Like we enjoyed each other's company, which is a huge deal.
Just kind of off topic, did you ever ask your teammates last year if you could play Victor top?
Never did come up once. In fact, I just said, where do you want me? And I just barked like a good dog.
For anybody that's it, we banned Drake from playing Victor ever again on our team a couple years ago. So let's go ahead and get into our picks. Team Pac-Man Monarch actually had first pick for season 2023, and the first pick of the draft is Eric 29, who bears a very strong resemblance to an animated movie character. I can't quite put my finger on it.
Oh, that's Shrek. You didn't know that?
Oh, Shrek. Okay. The resemblance is uncanny, I will say, but Eric, I sat out last year, did not play in the 2022 season, did play in the 2021 season. He is a former coach. You can see he's soccer and tennis coach. And Drake, he actually got a shout out to you on his player card that Drake Prime is Bay.
That makes sense. I expect to see a few more of these probably come up.
I am interested to see what role Eric is going to play on Team Pac-Man Monarch. I believe Pac-Man Monarch is likely to go into that jungle role. Eric did play jungle 2 years ago, and then the year prior to that, he played ADC. And I remember playing up against him in the 2020 season, and he brought out the Azir bot, and that was a very frustrating experience. So I hope to never see that ever again.
Yeah, I've only played with Eric as far as CR goes. I've never had to play against him. Luckily, that's why my 2-time champ is in place, I think. But Eric's great. He's a good teammate. He's a good game. So I think whoever got him was lucky to get him.
Perfect. So congratulations to Eric 29, the first pick in the draft. Let's go and get into our second pick of the draft, and it's going to be I'm going to say Ease Ben Real or Easy Ben Real, play on the Ezreal name, but drafted by Team That's Subdo. And obviously, looking at the summoner name, you've got to expect Ezreal being one of the major picks coming out from this summoner here.
Yeah, we actually, so last night, or Friday night, we had our showcase games where people got together, kind of some in-houses, played some games, and I got to watch one that Ben here played in, and he absolutely, he was a monster. He looked really good on it. Actually, fun fact, so I'm from Northwest Arkansas area, used to work at a LAN center up there, and Ben is a Oklahoma area Smash player, and he is one of the best Smash players I've ever seen. Dude is cracked.
That is a fun fact. Normally when somebody says fun fact, it's not really fun, but that is a fun one.
I'm a fun guy.
I think I appreciate that. So we'll see how those Smash skills come into play on the Rift. Interested to see where Ben goes. He's got bot and mid marked as his roles. It's not, this is not the days of Runeglaive as it used to be, many seasons ago with Ezreal mid as well as Ezreal jungle. But it's not uncommon, I would say, to see that. We could have some solo queue picks coming out there with an Ezreal in the mid lane. Our third pick of the draft from Team Tzivi is going to be a smooth criminal, the man himself, the Anivia and Ahri mastermind that caused havoc throughout the leagues last year. He is back, selecting his roles of mid and fill. It's good to see Jeremy back on the Rift.
Absolutely. Last year, or not last year, the 2021 season, actually, when I played mid, I played against Jeremy, and let's just say the famous winter game has something to do with that, where I was like 0-14 going into a 20-minute game. So, dude's great, but also a great opponent to play against. Just keeps it classy. Messaged me after the game, telling me, hey, good job, which I didn't think was very good, but here we are.
So he likes to pick people up when they're down.
Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah, he's like, at least you didn't die 15 times.
Yeah, definitely. Had some really strong picks. There were the Anivia was coming out a lot, especially the Ahri. I remember we had some highlights from 2 years ago with the Ahri play in the mid lane. I think they were over diving onto him, and he was able to pull that out. So it's good to see a smooth criminal back. Definitely a coach rival staple. We'll see if we can pull off this year. All right, next player drafted with not a lot of data there on the left side of the screen, other than he competed last year with Straight Outta Grompton as one of your teammates, is going to be who you would recognize last year. The name is Clown Viego. Now it's my LP is Viegon for Team Psychazi coming in.
Yeah, honestly, this was like, talk about the draft, the surprising pick. Dose was actually one of our, I think he actually was the highest rated player in the draft. When we did draft, we had everyone a point value according to like their ranks. And Dose was actually the highest pick, or highest rated player, and actually went down here to pick 4. So kind of a big surprise in the draft. I think a good deal there for Psychazi. Pick up a little steal. We'll see. Dose is, again, great player, great teammate. I'm excited to see what he does this year. Also, if you can't tell, look at that. He's a great profile.
And I do appreciate chat pointing out that Zvi is the correct pronunciation back here. So I do apologize. Pronunciation keys do not come with these. So please pardon my ignorance, but Team Zvi, I'm going to keep that in mind for the future. But yeah, for sure. Dose definitely plays some carry junglers. Don't expect to see him on a Sejuani or a Maokai or anything like that. He was actually one to break out the Bel'Veth when Bel'Veth was released kind of in the middle of CR last year. And so, kind of, I don't want to say abusing the new champion release, but, if you can hop on those new releases early and kind of develop mastery on those champions, it's abusing a lot of people not knowing how to play into those champions. And so I'm interested to see if he's going to kind of be a trendsetter this year as well.
Yeah, pretty excited to see where it goes. Like you said,
he is in chat saying that he has a champion Ocean, so we'll see how that plays out. Team Hernandez Teaches is drafting next and drafts Chifari as their first pick, selecting the roles of jungle and Phil. Has no favorite champions. Apparently, highest rank was Diamond. But he is the director of esports at Ohio Northern and was a pro in Halo CE from 2003 to 2007. That is none of that is as interesting as the best fact down here at the bottom is that he breakdances.
Yeah, but I tried reading all of his moves, and all I heard was a hospital bill. So
I feel like the breakdancing skills and experience are going to benefit him more on the Rift than directing esports or being a pro in Halo.
they've related CR to corkscrew flip before. I think I've heard that direct correlation. So
So very, very good pickup here. Chifar, I don't really know him very well, but I trust that he's going to bring some of his pro game experience. It could be an in-game leader too, being able to bring in that game experience, even from other titles, into League of Legends, and being able to be that vocal team member, kind of rally everybody together, and also kind of keep calm heads when the inevitable frustrating event happens. Next on the draft for Team Ginga Riffith, very, very first pick is that Decker guy. And I believe he played support, correct, for Straight Outta Grompton last year, or am I wrong?
no, yeah. So week 1, he played top, and then it quickly became, can anyone else play this godforsaken lane? And they played support after that.
All right, so my memory's not completely gone. I do remember some of this. So he is a coach for Mississippi School of Math and Science. Competes in amateur strongman events. I did not know that. So definitely an intimidating figure over there in Decker. Way better at TFT than League. But some of his favorite champs coming in here. He's listing support. So I'm
Dude, where's the Amumu? Where's the Amumu? That's all he played last year.
I'm assuming he's going to be supporting for Chris there. I'm not certain, but I'm going to go out on a limb and go ahead and say that he will be supporting for that team, but we'll see what happens. We'll look at the final makeup, but good to see Decker back on the Rift. He's
really good at supporting the heart, so we're covered there.
Next in the draft for Team Chicas, very first pick for this team is Ched, the Terror, in the bot lane with Pantheon and Pyke. I remember people banning out the Pyke, and when Pyke was banned, he was picking out the Pantheon, just an all-in, hyper-aggressive support. But Drake, I'm seeing this year that top lane and mid lane are his selected roles.
Love it. Love it. Awesome. Congrats on the new kid. Leona's a beautiful name. Obviously no relation to anything else going on here.
I like to see the connection. And the Bearded Dragon's name is Skarl as well. So very, very apropos.
Usually people name things after their passion, so it's kind of weird to say it didn't happen here.
But the Bard and the Kled. So I am disappointed, Chad, if you're tuning in and watching. Very disappointed that I'm not seeing the Pyke or the Pantheon listed in the favorite champs, because those were terrors for sure, as I mentioned on the Rift. So good to see Chad back. Interested to see what he's going to bust out potentially in the top lane and the mid lane. And finally, with the final first round pick of the 2023 draft for Team Pathfinder is going to be, I apologize for the pronunciation here, Cioto, selecting support and mid. No favorite champs, but based on that jersey that I see with the Bish Please jersey that is there, I'm assuming that he's got some strong connections to Mr. Pathfinder.
Pathfinder, I thought he was Pac-Man Monarchs.
Yeah, and Pathfinder was as well.
Oh.
so there we've got like three Bish connections here in the Coach Rivals 2023.
It's crazy how we keep saying the word Bish.
I do what I can. He does have a fun fact over here on the left that BMW is the better car. I'm not
sure. Compared to what? Like, what is this? Like, if I got to haul a trailer, I'm using a BMW? Absolutely not.
So we got Bish Pleases going in the chat right now. I do appreciate that. So many Bishes up in here. Thank you, Allison. And I forgot to mention, too, this is not just me and Drake run the show. Our director behind the scenes, you can't hear, but we can in our ears. Cartera is absolutely she's keeping all this together right now, and all of our technical difficulties that we ran into earlier, she figured all those out and fixed them, and we're up and running. So make sure you give Allison a good shout out for running this for us.
She's also been a huge behind the scenes with getting the league started, helping me with all the commissioner side of things. I mean, I don't think I've been doing it like the best job, but the good job I've been doing is definitely because of her. So huge shout out to Cartera.
Awesome. So
Yes, and she's a spreadsheet queen. Very important.
Queen. I like it. So we've gone through our 8 first round picks. And without further ado, what we'd like to do is just jump right into our full team listings. Okay, so we're going to go into each individual team and show their entire roster going into the 2023 season and kind of share our thoughts there. So here we go. The full reveal. Nobody gets to see who got picked last in dodgeball, is what we're going here, which is awesome. That was always me. So here we go with Team Pac-Man Monarch. We have our 5 players here. Again, I'm going to try to pronounce these. Please don't flame me too much in the comments, but Bibobi, Pac-Man Monarch, Zucchini, Mr. Eric 29, and Merlin. Merlin back on the Rift. I believe he was on. Was he on Pac-Man? I believe he was on Pac-Man Monarch's team last year that won Tier 2 Coach Rivals.
Yeah, I think this is a like the team. Eric 29 up there. I'm really excited to see where the roles play out this year doing the point system. Was more. I think we had a really even spread of roles across, kind of broke down really nicely. Usually we have this huge influx of supports, like 50% of people put down as supports their main role. So I'm glad to see maybe the years of playing together kind of expanded that. So not really idea where the players are going to end up as of now, but excited to see when the roles come out, like where this is going to line up and how they're going to play. It kind of goes for every team involved, I guess, but with this one starting out.
Yeah, for sure. And Drake just touched on a major point for everybody that the roles, or at least the order of the players that you see on your screen right now, is not indicative of the roles that they're going to be assuming on the Rift for their team. They are going to have to figure that out really in team discussions of who wants to go where, who's going to play what. But I think this team has a really, really strong foundation in the 3 players that I already know of, with Ronnie likely wanting to go jungle. Eric, I know, can fill. Merlin was doing a great job on ADC last year. His Jhin, I know, was causing nightmares across the Rift, really for every team in the league. So be interested to see how the 2 new players to the league kind of slot in. But I think they've got a really strong foundation moving forward.
Absolutely.
Next team, That's Supdo, is going to be the captain, That's Supdo, followed by Ashley Nicole. It's been real. I'm not sure. Piper Maru and Black Beetle 13 rounding out that team. So really fun team here. I really like this. The cool thing for me with a couple of these players that I'm familiar with, for sure, with That's Supdo, is obviously support, but a lot of engage supports can also play enchanters, so a real reliable role there. Rakan was one that's banned a ton against her. Piper Maru has kind of evolved throughout the jungle, starting for more like tanky engaged junglers to then more tank shredding jungler in the Trundle, and then moving into now more carry junglers with Kindred and Nocturne and things of that nature. So that's really, really fun. And then we have our innovator in the top lane from last year was Blake and Black Beetle 13, busting out the Sejuani in the top lane before it was even played in LCS. So major shout out to Blake for bringing that. I think he's just a huge Sejuani fan. But yeah, it ended up starting in Coach Rivals and then bled into, we started to see it in LCS. So he looked like an absolute genius.
What I'm hearing is that we started the LCS meta. So, I mean, honestly, that tracks.
So with the Ezreal in there too, I really like this. We've got some strong role, like not just like team, like Rift position, like I play top, I play jungle, but we have some really strong role players on this team of I will play engage or I will play tank, and you don't have to worry about trying to slotting, that else somewhere else in the team. So that's really, really cool with this team. I think that they're going to have some good synergy early, and making team comps for them is going to be super simple, very straightforward. They just have to work on execution. And we'll see how it goes. I'm really excited to see how this team plays out.
Last thing I want to say before we leave is that Piper Maru, while she's been jungle last season going to this season, before last season, whenever, our winning year, Justin, she was support, and it was the best Lux on the Rift, stole like 13 Barons, every dragon. I mean, just an absolute monster wherever you put her.
That is true. That's true. I remember the Lux snipes with the ultimate. Yes. Fantastic call out there. Next for Team Zvi, I got it right that time. We have that full team listed here. Axion first, which was, I believe, playing a lot of top lane last year with the Volibear. We have Zvi as well. We have a Smooth Criminal most likely going in the mid lane. And I'm excited. I don't know if anybody else is excited as I am, but Shiny Ninetales, Peter, is back in Coach Rivals. So it's excited to see him back. He did not play with us last year, so good to see him. And then we have Lexi coming in, who, if I remember correctly, Lexi was playing mid in the Tier 3 league last year and now stepping up. Played a mean Ahri as well in the Tier 3 league. So we've got 3 different Ahri players on Teams V. So that could potentially be a major flex pick for this.
They say that's some people's dream.
This is a really exciting team. I'm interested to see how they pull this out and kind of mold all these roles together. If I remember correctly, Shiny Ninetales did play mid that year, so we have Shiny Ninetales and a Smooth Criminal both potentially vying for that mid lane role. Axion first, potentially going top as he did last year, but I think they did some shifting around. I think he may have played jungle one time last year as well, if my memory serves me correct. But definitely some C9 Coach Rivals veterans on this team. I'm excited to see how they work together and then bring up some of these new players coming in, as well as the Tier 3 players as well.
Yeah, this is going to be a very fun team to watch.
All right, Team Saikazi coming in with as.
I'm sorry. I'm
gonna let you say it.
Come on, man. Tom, I know you're in here. Did you not have anything other than your MySpace profile to put up there? Just take on your Nokia flip phone.
Uploaded from his Nokia bar phone, Saikazi's profile picture in here. So Team Saikazi, the full team here is Magros in the top lane, also a Coach Rivals season winner. His Scion is a thing of beauty. We have my LP is Viagon, as we mentioned earlier. Saikazi himself, the captain in the mid lane. Coyote, I'm assuming, is just with a K. And then Loki Doki, who I'm excited to see back too, because I was helping them out with Team Valhalla back. Loki Doki playing support for them. So lots of damage-based supports who we don't see a lot of lately. The Zyra being one of them. She's very, very good on the Zyra. But good to see Saikazi back as well. Obviously, we have a lot of carry potential here on this team. So lots of damage. Maybe not necessarily playing straightforward team comps. They could this team, I think, could be really, really scrappy.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, well, shout out to Mike. Whenever we played, again, the 2021 champions, always remember, Mike just talk about a role player. He's not afraid to just get up there, give him Ornn, give him Scion, a piece of Scion, just play the game. Those in chat saying ape together strong. That was our slogan last year, was if we're going to do something, do it together. 5 monkeys stronger than 1 monkey. And so I'm excited to see what he's going to bring as far as that goes. Fun fact also about Coyote is we played on the showcase games the other day, and just to showcase, my brains is, I pronounced that Coyote.
Okay.
Just wanted you to know that I can't read either. So.
Okay, so you're not saying that's the correct pronunciation. That's just.
Oh, absolutely not. It's Coyote. No.
Okay, so I was right.
No. Oh yeah.
I feel better now. All right, so hopefully Team Saikazi will be ape together strong and not ape on weak.
If their team name is not 2003 Nokia brick, they didn't do it right.
His picture looks like it's been uploaded to the internet for about 20 years, and just people keep stealing it, downloading it, and re-uploading it. I think it needs 5 less pixels, and it would be perfect.
Love it.
Next on the Rift, a full team is Team Hernandez Teaches coming through. First player there is Mr. Hernandez Teaches himself. Then we have Chifari, as we mentioned earlier, and Rogue Otters. Zach is back, who I believe was a sub last year. Wasn't like full-time player on one of the teams, but definitely filled in to help keep our season running. So good to see him on a team full-time for the entire season. That's awesome. Kairu, I apologize if I butchered that name. And Cartera, our director in our ears, is going to be playing on this team as well. So I like this. I like playing with both Robbie and Zach, both Hernandez Teaches and Rogue Otters. I think those guys are just fun, easy going to play with, but also have a mind for the game. So those two on a team, I think, are going to be really, really strong. I think their personalities really gel well together. And I honestly don't know much about Chifari and Kairu, but I know Cartera in there is a team player, and whatever the team needs, she's going to slot in and do a really good job. Also a real student of the game and just constantly trying to learn. So I'm really excited about this team. I think they're going to do really cool things.
Yeah, a big thing about this too, we talked about the shoot of the game thing. Just to speak kind of CR in general, I think a big deal about doing well at CR isn't necessarily just like be able to mesh well and like being friends, but the biggest thing is to be able to take advice from experience. You know, you have two ways to handle things. If someone tells you you're doing something wrong, and that's get defensive and think you're doing it correctly, or it's to accept you could be doing it wrong. And I think as long as we can get in, everyone can understand like, hey, maybe I don't know everything, no matter who you are, where you are. I think it's going to be smooth sailing for everyone involved.
For sure. And, we talked about a couple of changes this year coming onto the Rift that we didn't have last year with the Yuumi rework and the Nico rework. Cartera, and I always gave her a hard time because she was playing Yuumi 2 seasons ago when she was playing support, I believe, for Sones in the bot lane. And I had to go up against them whenever I was playing. And last year she played ADC. So I'm interested to see what role she slots in. But if she does end up being in that support role, I'm interested to see if she's going to bust out the new Yuumi mid-season rework. Allison, I know you can hear me, and I'll be able to hear you in the ears. Can you confirm right now on stream that you're going to play Yuumi this season? Yeah. She says she has not touched Yuumi since the rework. And she cannot confirm. But I was just trying to get the scoop. That's all I wanted. I just wanted the scoop. I wanted the team strats to be revealed right now. But don't be surprised, anybody, if the Yuumi comes out from Team Hernandez Teaches. Next, we have Team Gingarifith. Next, their entire roster here. The Big Doge 9000. Do not know who that is. I apologize. Maybe new to Coach Rivals. I am Athlete. I believe Athlete was on our Tier 3 league last year. Was this the Lilia one trick causing chaos in the Tier 3 league? We have Queso as well, Gingarifith. And that Decker guy, as we mentioned earlier. Drake, give me your thoughts on this roster here.
Man, so again, I don't know a couple of people on here. I know I'm Athlete, and just from like kind of active in the Discord, I see him post quite a bit. I know he's cracked it. Rocket League, yeah, was the main thing. But last year, I actually played with Gingarifith and that Decker guy, and I mean, two of the best teammates you could ask for as far as like just be able to check the ego at the door, listen what you had to say. I mean, sometimes it takes 2 or 3 sayings, but they're all about it. Chris is just absolutely the best. He was our captain last year. Dude was amazing as far as just listening to what's going on and adapting. So I think this has the makings of being one of the best teams starting out, just because you got a lot of people here who are willing to like work together. So
yeah,
good place, good fun to start.
If you're a Hotline League fan, I'm sure you've heard Chris call in there. I think he's been on there a couple times, if I remember correctly. I know he's been on there at least once. I remember listening and hear him call in. But yeah, I think this team could be a really cool wild card. I mean, we've shown, or at least Chris has shown, that he has carry potential last year. Interested to see how Athlete adapts now in this league where the bans come in, and you're not going to be able to necessarily get the champion that you want, especially if you're showing proficiency on a champion, right? You're going to get targeted, and it's not uncommon. I mean, Drake, y'all saw it last year. If I remember correctly, y'all had like triple jungle bans coming your way sometimes, and I know that
sometimes 5 bans. And big thing about that we got lucky, that the teams got lucky on, was like we would self-ban ourselves by picking picking like Seraphine ADC, right? So like we did a lot of work ourselves to make sure that the team had a chance.
Oh, that's right. Y'all did bust out the double enchanter bot lane last year.
We sure tried.
Yeah. So this is I really like this team. I think and this is a reunion, right, with Chris and Decker, because they were the bot lane together for Straight Outta Grompton, right?
They were, yeah.
Okay. So a returning bot lane. So everybody that's paying attention or listening, this could potentially be the same bot lane really that won last year. So we've got 2 returning champions on the exact same team. So they're going to run it back. So we're going to see how this pans out. Maybe they can, retain their title and defend it. Moving forward, next we have Team Chicas. And here we have, of course, Chicas in as our very first pick there. We have Careless Wanderer coming in, which is another Tier 3 player who was absolutely smurfing in Tier 3 League last year. I believe a ton of misfortune. But I remember, because I was doing the stats last year, that Careless Wanderer was constantly topping the stats in Tier 3, just picking misfortune every single week. And just absolutely blowing everybody out of the water. I was constantly having him on the player spotlight, whatever, because he had the most outstanding stats that week. He just would not share the spotlight with anybody.
Tell you what, top of the stats, but also top of the name chart, right? Like Careless Wonder, like what a banger.
It makes me think of a Careless Whisper. That's every time I see it, that's all I'm thinking about is Careless Whisper. We have Ray Binks next in the player lineup there. Death and Taxes. I'm not familiar with Ray Binks or Death and Taxes, so I apologize. But I do know Chad, as we mentioned Chad earlier. And I think Chicas played in one of our leagues as well, possibly the Tier 3, or maybe I just saw him in the CR Discord. I've been absent for quite a while, but I'm not familiar with a lot of the players. So this team I think is going to be really interesting for me to watch and learn more about.
Someone chat said Death Taxes is a rename. I read that as real name, and I was like, God, another banger. Just
yeah. So the summoner names, it's the summoner name changes, or maybe catching me off guard a little bit.
Subcheck is Death and Taxes.
Okay. Subcheck. Gotcha. All right. So I'm again excited to see what happens with this team, especially when we see the teams from the players from Tier 3 bump up. And especially the ones that were doing really, really well. It's really cool to see how they adapt to the new level of competition. But then also, I'm excited for Ched back, because from the support role, he played those really hyper-aggressive supports. It was very feast or famine. And if he's not going to play support, interested to see where he goes from there. So really, really cool team to see. Really excited to see what they do this year.
Yeah.
Final team, the last one that we have for Coach Rival Season 2023 is Team Pathfinder. And that's going to be, of course, Pathfinder, as we saw last year in the top lane. We have Lake Demon. Apologize if that's wrong. We have Jubilus, who was on the winning Tier 2 team last year, playing Assassins in the mid lane. Which was causing a ton of problems from the Yasuo to the Zed. So we saw a lot of that. Blue Sai as well, who played ADC in the Tier 2 league last year. Wanted to play the Neela, and I don't believe we ever let him. Maybe one time, but we may see that be bust out. And Cioto, which we mentioned earlier as the first pick for this team. So Drake, give me your thoughts here on Team Pathfinder.
Glad you asked. So Pathfinder, I think, is kind of the resident bad boy of CR, in the sense like he was kind of the boogeyman, if you will, for last year. That's from me, who was the I was in the lane that went against Pathfinder, and I thought he was a bad boy because I thought he was going to absolutely murder me anytime. Of course, safe counter pick, got to counter pick the worst player on the team with a Darius every time you get. I get it. No, it is what it is. But besides that, I got to play some games with Jubulus and Lake Demon. I think also Bluseki. We were in some of the showcase games on Friday. Had a good time. They're great people to play with. So I think this is a good team to be with. It's you have a great top laner, great captain with Pathfinder, and everybody check those eagles at the door. It's gonna be a good team.
Yeah, and Pathfinder 2 not only played last year in the Tier 1 league, but also served as like a coach for a Tier 2 league. So he's got passion for the game where not only be a player, but also commit the extra time to also coach at the same time for a Tier 2 team. So
yeah,
willing to commit a lot of time to the league, essentially.
He's also a big help with me when I was trying to work on trying to make sure these teams got balance, how to do the draft, and kind of like how do I do this so we don't have lopsided teams or mess up anywhere. Pathfinder was a huge resource for me to go to and kind of get some ideas off. Also, just give me ideas. He's just a great guy.
Yeah, so really cool. So I'm sorry, Jubulus, that I pronounced your name incorrectly. Again, no pronunciation keys along with this. So I work with what I get here, but I at least gave the effort. And Cioto said, "Wow, you actually pronounced my name correctly on first try." So we take those. But really exciting team here. Pathfinder does play a lot of carries. I don't expect Pathfinder to play a more utility role. Definitely, slap me on a carry. Give me the Darius. Give me the Mordekaiser. The Fiora. What's that?
His opponents can pray.
Yeah. So it caused a lot of issues in the league last year. Lots of first bloods as well. I believe he was the first blood king for a while. And so really exciting players on this team. Multiple players that like to play carries. Not very sure, I'll take one for the team and play the tank, or I'll play the engage. No, they want the limelight. They want the spotlight. It's really interesting to see how they're going to gel and make all that work, and who's going to be the first one to say, I'll be the one to play tank. We'll see what happens this season for Team Pathfinder. Obviously, that's not going to be the name. I'm interested to see the names. I think are going to be the best part of all this.
Yeah, we talked to the captains earlier today. I thought I wanted to get everyone their team involved. It's just have the captains come up with it, because I think it's one of the best parts about CR is getting in there and sending funny memes and kind of making some pop culture references, find the name that works. So names be coming out. I think it's a deadline to this coming Wednesday, the 24th. We'll have the names set up for everybody. Get some good ones. Yeah, that's the next step, I think.
And then jersey is coming too. I'm repping my Team Tragedy jersey tonight, so I had to shout out 2 years ago the team that I played on, and so looking forward definitely to the names. Those are going to be awesome. I do want to remind everybody that our season starts on June 1st, so that's not very far away from now, right? You have 1 week really to practice with your team. And then that season starts the very week after that, right, Drake?
Absolutely. And actually in Discord, we have someone drop in here. Just real quick, the most important thing here is, the Phoenix Game Foundation, which helps coaches with funding and things like that, I believe. I'm sorry. I said I think because we do a lot of things, but there's a link there to help support us. I know everybody, if you're playing, it was free to play this league, but we asked just think about donating some money just to help with the grants we give out. I know last year CR is a big deal. I was one of those people that got a grant, got to help out Dante School of Innovation here in Springdale, Arkansas. Money went to them. So this is a really good foundation that gets the money back into the different communities, helps esports thrive. So it's huge.
Yeah, so for anybody that's new to the community and you haven't played in one of our summer leagues before, welcome. We're happy we're here. We really help each other out and build each other up. The league really is all about having fun. And some of it, too, is with being maybe in a high school or in a collegiate, kind of esports coaching position. Some of us may have never experienced what it's like to be in that full team environment for an esports, because esports really wasn't around when we were in high school. So this gives us kind of that taste of what our players go through, right? What our students go through and what they experience every week. And then you have that community here where you can kind of learn and get more ideas from, these other coaches. And really you generate lifelong friends from here on out.
Absolutely. And, this is supposed to be a competitive place. That's the point of it. We have a season, we have a postseason, we have a championship, we have all these things. But the most important thing, and the thing I don't want anybody to forget, is that this is for fun. End of the day, this is to have a good time. Like you said, make those friends, make those connections that carry on. And if you're not having a good time in this, then there's a problem. And this is my first year running the summer series, so there's going to be some hiccups. I'm not perfect. I like to think I am, but I know I'm not. So if something comes up and you have some questions, you have some concerns, obviously you have a captain you can go to that can probably relay some information. But if you want to go to me, please. I'm on my phone all the time. I'm pretty good at replying. Shoot me a DM on Discord. Message me. At me in the chat. Talk to me. That's what I'm here for. I want to be active. I want to make sure you guys have everything you need to have fun, have a good time, and also be competitive. But that's the big thing for me, is to make sure we all have a great time with this. We want to come back to do it next year. We want to make season 4 happen. We want to make season 5, season 6. We want this to be an annual thing for forever.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. So thank you all for tuning in to our draft party for season 2023. Don't forget, matches start June 1st. So if you're not a player, be sure to tune in June 1st, as we will be streaming matches. And if you're a player, make sure you're communicating with your captain so you know when practice is. Show up for practice, show up for game night. Have a lot of fun. Give us some stuff to cheer on and root. Banter is always a good thing. Some friendly banter, and some team has got to step up and be the bad boys of the league. And I'm interested to see which team is going to do that. The team that people love to hate. Let's get some of that this year.
I found that it's usually the winners that are called the bad boys. Resident bad boy, I guess. 2 years running, no big deal.
All right, y'all. Well, thank you for tuning in for Drake Prime over there or down here. I forget where he's at on the stream right now. I'm Neshama. Thank you so much for tuning in to our 2023 draft party. We'll see you on June 1st.